Hello beautiful people, it is Amanda here from Mystical Dragon bringing you another oracle card deck, and I'm really excited to be able to bring you Lucy Cavendish's brand new deck. We have only had this deck less than 2 weeks and I've been loving getting to have a play with this beautiful deck and getting to present it for you guys so that you can see it open and in all of its glory. So this is Lucy Cavendish's The Solitary Witch Oracle. The artist is Lady Victoria, who's a Canadian artist. This is a 45 card deck. It is a beautiful deck. I love all of Lucy's work. And this is no exception. The guidebook is really beautiful. Half of the guidebook is just full of information in that magnificent way that Lucy loves to share, her really enchanted, really magical, beautiful way that she has about her. So I'm really excited to be able to show you this new deck, the guidebook, and all of the cards in this little video today. So let's get into the guidebook. So it is a deck that is a bit bigger than a handful. So the guidebook is a similar size to the cards themselves, a little bit bigger. It is a half decent thickness of a guidebook. And as I said, half of it is filled with wonderful information about doing your readings, which you can definitely transfer, not just with this particular deck, but you could transfer to other decks as well. So she has a beautiful introduction that goes on for several pages, which really sets the scene about a witch and what a witch is and what they're connected to, and particularly a witch alone, which is that solitary witch angle that this particular deck takes. So you can see there's a fair few pages just in the introduction. And then she talks about how, yes, there's witches that gather in covens and in groups, but not all witches gather in covens and groups. For some, it is a way that we walk alone, and these are the solitary witches. And so she talks a little about that. And becoming the book of the wise. So she talks a bit about some of the legends of solitary witches that exist in some of the history as well. Seeking out wisdom and lore through books and through practice and all of those wonderful things. She talks a bit about the Witch of Endor from the Old Testament and a few things like that. I don't want to give too much away. And how we can initiate with the Solitary Witch Oracle. So she talks from here, initiating the Solitary Witch Oracle. She actually takes quite a little bit of time to break down connecting with your deck. So when you very first get it, she says not to just, tear straight into it, but to actually really take some time, with purpose, to connect with your deck. So have a bit of a read, definitely, of your guidebook when you first get it. Don't necessarily go flicking through all the cards, even though that's hard to resist, because she talks about how to take it out of the box, how to actually bless your oracle deck, to sit with your deck with purpose and have a connection before you start flicking through all the cards. To bless your deck, so there's a little bit of guidance on how and where to kind of find the inspiration for words. How to shuffle your deck the very first time to really help create a connection, or the best connection you can for doing readings. Creating a reading space, tuning into the cards themselves, how to shuffle your cards, particularly when you're going to do a reading. Cutting your cards as well, and asking questions of the oracle. The cards that have a will of their own, so they're talking about the leaping card and the reverse card, and how to go about reading those and utilizing those. And also how to finish a reading, which a lot of decks don't actually go through, how to end a reading in a really nice way, and how to cleanse your deck after you've done a reading too. So she really takes some time to go into all of those things. Plus there's added extras like enhancing your reading, so some magical essential oils, some crystal companions, some herbal helpers for doing your readings, and some ritual objects as well, all to enhance. So she goes right through that. So it's like having your own little book dedicated to doing readings and ways to improve working with oracle cards. Then there's a few layouts as well. So you've got your daily pick a card practice, which she talks a bit about. Then there's a 3-card spread called the 3 Witches spread. Then there's some variations on the 3-card spread. There's Lucy's version of the Celtic cross, which is really interesting. And she takes a number of pages to be able to dive into that properly for us. Then there's the Circle of Witches is another spread. That one having 9 cards, plus I think there's the extra one for you in the middle, so 10 cards. Then there is the Tools of the Solitary Witch down here. And that is a 5-card spread using the elements Earth, Air, Fire, Water and Spirit. And then we begin with the card messages. So you can see she has gone, nearly half of the guidebook is really lots of guidance to help make sure you have a really beautiful, wonderful, connected, magical reading experience when you're working with the cards. So then all 45 of the cards, of course, have a double page spread for us to be able to read a bit about each one. There is a little mini version of the card there, so you know you're on the right card when you've opened to the one you think you're at. There is a main word that's connected, or a couple of words, but in this case it's just one. Then there's a bit about what you're seeing in the card itself. And so sometimes I find you can pull some of the meaning itself out of what you read here. She does have a more precise meaning, which you could, if you're doing readings and looking up your meanings, you could simply just look at the meaning side. But I always find, you know, I get more out by reading that more descriptive side as well. And then there's also, if that card is reversed, what the meaning will be in reverse. And each of the cards have the same layout. Occasionally we go over the page to a third page, but they are mostly like a double page spread of information, which is a really great amount of information, especially for the size guidebooks that we have here. So a really great guidebook, loads and loads of information in there, and all done in Lucy's wonderful style. I love reading Lucy's books. She just has a beautiful way of how she expresses everything in such a wonderful, whimsical, magical way. So then these are the cards themselves. I'll flick over to the back for you. A beautiful silver pentagram on the back. And then let's have a flick through the cards. So the cards themselves, I love the colours, I love the imagery. They've really got that kind of witchy vibe going on without being too dark. The themes feel really relevant. All the cards I've been pulling and playing with have felt all really relevant from the deck. All very witchy based, going through bits and pieces from Sabbats to working with various tools and just things like sleeping with the stars that, you know, us as witches we do tend to do to help make certain connections, and because we just feel really at home in certain elements. Gorgeous colours. I love the borders down the sides of the cards as well. could certainly use them as focuses on your altar as well at different times. So that is Lucy's new deck, the Solitary Witch. I hope that you love it just as much as I do. We do have it for sale at Mystical Dragon. We do have an open deck that's available in the store to have a bit of a flick through as well. So you can buy it in our store at Seaford, Victoria, Australia, or you can pop onto our e-store at mysticaldragon.com.au and have a sticky beat there and order there, so it can get either posted out or you can come pick it up if you are not too far away from us. Do let me know if you have this deck, if what you think about this deck, if you're a fan of Lucy's work like me. I would love to hear your thoughts on all of this as well. And don't forget, we also sell all of your witchy supplies and things at Mystical Dragon too. So while you're picking up your deck, if you need to pick up any extra candles, herbs, essential oils and other things, you certainly have the ability to be able to do that. Wishing you guys all the very best, sending out lots of blessings to all of you. Looking forward to bringing you another deck review and a spell really soon. Take care, guys.